Alright, hey y'all, how's it going? So today I have a beautiful song for you. We're going to do a song by Kacey Musgraves called Slow Burn. I just heard this song for the first time a few days ago. I've been listening to this really cool NPR station, and they play a lot of wonderful music, some of the best songs that I've heard in years, and this was one of them. And I'd heard her name before, but I'd never heard her music, so I went and checked this song out, discovered some other songs she's had. Man, she's incredible. She's got a great voice. She has some amazing songs. I really hope she's won a Grammy at some point for one of them, because they're just terrific. And the guitar part, the way this song's produced, the guitar part on the record, it's so good. I don't know who played guitar on it or who produced it, but just the vibe of the song matches the atmosphere that's created sonically and musically. I always love it when that happens. So anyway, there's not a lot to the song. It's only like 4 chords throughout the whole song, and then you have a bridge that introduces a couple of new chords. But we're going to put this in an open tuning, and we're going to try to combine some of the rhythm guitar part along with some of the vocal melody, and just try to play those two things, kind of weave back and forth between those two things, and just try to capture the essence of the song. So you can kind of play this as a solo guitar type of thing, or you can take parts of it and you can use it in a full band situation with a singer if you wanted to. But let's just go ahead and get into the verse and the intro. Alright, so before we get into the intro and the verse, we got to tune our guitar up to this A-sus2 chord. So I've used this before, like in an Oasis song I did this with, so I already had this guitar tuned this way. I just picked it up and saw if I could figure this song out and just come up with something. So we're going to start out E, A, then E, A again, then B and E. So you have E, A, B, E. Alright, and that's the tuning you're going to need for the whole song. Alright, so for the intro part, I don't know exactly what they're doing on the recording. I don't think they're in an open tuning. The main guitar is probably just has a capo on the 2nd fret. I think she probably plays this like A sus2, E minor, G major to a D sus4, if you wanted to simplify it. But we're going to try to match that tone that they have on the recording. It's a great part. There's like this little... I don't know if that's happening while the guy's strumming it, whoever's playing guitar on it, or if they added it in later as like a percussive kind of production thing, but it's really cool. If you listen closely, you can hear that. So anyway, we're going to start out... I've written all this out, I've charted out the whole song, but I don't have all the chord names memorized, so if I fumble through this, I'm just going to call this A thing, this G thing, this E minor thing, and then I'll put the actual names of the chords and the diagram up here on the screen in the chord chart there. But we start out with like an A add 4. We're going to leave out the 5. We're just going to have open A string, don't play the E, have 5 on D, 4 on G, and 3 on B, and don't play the high E. Just kind of strum down on those 4. And right after that, then we're going to add in the E and start strumming. Now the strumming pattern, you know, it would take like 2 hours for me to go over like every down, up, down, up. So listen to the song, kind of find your own feel with it, kind of make it your own thing. But just know that you're trying to mimic the rhythm guitar that's on the recording, and then add in her vocal melody, and your right hand is going to be phrasing her lyrics with the rhythm of your right hand, right? If that makes sense. So we start out. There's a lot of muting involved, okay? So we're going to be muting a lot with our thumb and a lot with our ring finger to mute out the A string. So after you get that high E string in there, I'm just going to kind of slide this down from 5 and 4 down to 3 and 2. We're going to have the open E. We're going to push our ring finger up against the A string, mute that out, have 3 on D, 2 on G with your middle finger, and then the open B and E. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be your E minor that we go to after this A. Okay, then we're going to go to a G6. We're going to put our thumb down on 3 on the low E string. It's going to hang over and mute out the open A. And then we're going to have 3 on D with your ring finger, 2 on G with your middle finger, and 3 on B with your pinky, and hit the open E string with it. Okay, so we go. Then I'm going to take my middle finger off of 2 on G. We're going to suspend that G6, make it a G6 sus2. Alright. So your hand is going non-stop. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. When you change chords, you don't stop. You just keep going, right? You slide into it, you hit open strings, your hand doesn't stop, or you just play nothing and just kind of strum some air. And then we go up here, and we're going to do this little D6 thing, right? It's D6 add 9. And then we're going to go to an A sus2, and then hit some open strings, right? So we're going to walk up, we're going to have 5 on the A string, don't play the low E, have 7 on D, open G, 7 on B, and open E. Okay, we're going to play a 16th note. Alright, so after you have that 5 and 7, put your index finger down on 5 on the B string, so you hit open A, 7 on D, open G, B on 5, and open E. Strum a 16th note, or this will just be an 8th note, right? Then just hit the open D, G, B, and E. And that'll send you back into your 1 chord, okay? So we have... Alright, so when we get to the second part, after we do the little this time when we get to this E minor, we're going to add our pinky down on 3 on the B string and go from E minor to E minor 7. Alright, you just got to find that rhythm, get it going. Then I'm going to take my pinky off of 3 on 2, and I'm going to walk into this G here, okay? So we'll have... After I take my pinky off, I'm going to walk into this G here. This time, I'm going to leave my pinky off of the 3rd fret on the B. I'm just going to have 3 on the low E, beat out the A string, have 3 on D with your ring finger, 2 on G with your middle finger, and hit the open B and E with it. And strum like a 16th note, and then we're going to take our middle finger off the 2 on G. And we'll strum like that, and then get back up into the... Alright, so we have the second time. Alright, so after you do that G, I'll kind of just slide with my ring finger up to the 9th fret on D, just to keep it cohesive as you're strumming through it. And then you just do that same thing, right? That little D6 add 9, 16th note. Okay, then we do that little A sus2, open A, 7 on D, open G, 5 on B, open E. Then hit the open D, G, B, and E. Then we're back to our 1 chord, and then she starts singing, and then we'll start to incorporate the vocal melody, and the verse begins. So let's go ahead and get into the verse part. Alright, so for the verses, what we're going to do is we're going to switch back and forth between the acoustic rhythm guitar part and the vocal melody. So there's a lot of nuanced stuff going on here. There's a lot of muting. You got to really get on the tips of your fingers so you're not unintentionally muting anything out. And we're going to go back and forth between phrasing her vocal melody with our right hand and then jumping back into the acoustic guitar part. So when she starts out with the opening line, which is a fantastic opening line, it says, "Born in a hurry, always late, haven't been early since '88." Right, so we're going to have... Okay, so the little tagline at the end when we walk down, it's not going to be 100% exact every time. You kind of have to phrase it a little differently if you want it to exactly match each lyric and the way she phrases it. But it gets the point across. It implies at exactly what she's singing. So we start out, we're basically going to go from this A add 4 to an A major. A lot of just da 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 da. Right hand never stops, even when we're changing chords. Just keep going, right? So born. And then put your pinky down on 5 on B, makes it an A major, and that'll be your In a Hurry. And I just keep strumming it. Then we're going to walk down and we're going to play this E minor part, but we're not going to play the E or the A string. We're just going to be strumming the D, G, B, and E. And we're going to have to fret it differently so we can grab this high E string. So instead of using your ring and middle finger on 3 and 2, we're going to have our ring finger on 3 on D string, and then your index finger 2 on the G string. Okay, so you'll have... So you'll strum this down. So you'll have like a down up, and then a triplet. Put your middle finger down on 2 on the high E. Okay, and then we're going to go hold that same shape. Put your thumb down on the low E on the 3rd fret. Mute out the A string with your thumb, or you can push it up with your ring finger. Put your pinky down on 3 on B. So you have 3 on the low E, mute out the A, then you'll have 3 on D, 2 on G, 3 on B, and 2 on E. Okay. It's basically like a G major 7, right? So we have... Okay, so after you strum down on that G major 7 there, we're going to walk up and do this little kind of walk down thing of like haven't been early since '88. So we're going to go up here, we're going to have the open A, we're going to have 7 on D, open G, 7 on B, open E. It's like an A6 sus2, something like that. Then we're going to play an A sus2, we're going to have open A, 7 on D, open G, B on 5, open E. Take that same shape, slide it down 2 frets, so then you'll have open A, D on 5, open G, B on 3 and open E. Okay, this makes this is A sus4. So you have your okay, then the next one, we're just gonna have open A, D and G open, 2 on the B string, and then the open high E string. And then I'll slide back into the 1 chord. You don't have to. You just slide in from 3 and 2, D and G, hit the open A with it, and slide up to 5 and 4 on D and G, and then get your index finger back on 3 on B to form that whole A at 4 chord there, right? Alright, so I know it's a lot, so real slow we have. Okay, so the trick with this is it's kind of going down, up. Like as you're changing chords, I think you're hitting an upstroke. At least it's kind of hard to think about this stuff, right? You don't really think about these things. You just kind of feel it and play it. Yeah, so I'm basically hitting an upstroke every time I slide down into a chord. So that whole little walk down, you have the A6 sus2, an A sus2, an A sus4 to an A major. It's a cool little walk down. Then we go back after the vocal melody. Now we're back into playing the acoustic guitar part that turns us back around into the next line of the verse. So you're back to your open A, D, G, and B, 5, 4, and 3 with the open E. Then we're going to have your E minor. You'll have your open E, mute out the A, 3 on G, or 3 on D, 2 on G, open B and E. Then you would go to your G6, thumb on 3 on the low E, mute out the A, 3D, 2G, 3B, open E. And then I'll take my ring finger off, suspend that, take a 2 off a G there. So we have do our little D6 thing, and we'll do that same walk down. Where am I? Hair on my guitar there. Dog hair. Alright, so yeah, when you do this little walk down, then we go back into the 1, and then we start the second part of the verse, right? And then you can kind of change up the rhythm a little bit, and just kind of whatever line you have in your head. Every time I hear it, I hear a different line, and I just kind of play whatever rhythm I hear in my head at the time that she's singing. So first part. Okay, so you basically just repeat the same thing, and you can kind of change up your strumming if you hear a different line, like, what does she say, like, Texas is hot, I can be cold, grandma cried when I pierced my nose, or, you know, good on grass, good on green, good when you're putting your hands all over me. Whatever she's saying, however you want to phrase that with your right hand, you can kind of change that melody as you're playing it. But you have the chords, you have the notes you need to add in to do it, so just kind of hear in your head however you want to strum it and phrase it, right? Now the second time, every time I get into the chorus part, I'm going to go from this E minor, and I'm going to put my pinky down on 3 on the B string. Okay, so after you walk out of that part, we're going to do that every time we are about to get into the chorus part. Then we go into this G, 3 on the low E, mute out the A, 3 on D, 2 on G. open B and E, and then strum it, and then take a middle finger off of G, go to open G. Alright, so you have your second now this time is going to be I'm Alright with a. Okay, and then we'll get into the chorus. So let's go ahead and get into the chorus part. Alright, so for the chorus part, we're going to pick up at the end of the verse where we start strumming the acoustic part after we've already played through the vocal melody. So we'll go. Okay, so like I said, it's all the same thing we've already done. But you're just going to be phrasing I'm alright with a. And we're just going from that 5, 7, open, 7, open. That D6, whatever, D6 add 9. And then we have your open, 7 on D, open G, 5 on B. That A6 sus2. Or what is that chord? I forget, I'll put it up here. But we just go straight from to that open D, G, B, and E, alright? Then we're going to strum down open A, 5, 4, 3, D, G, and B to open E. And we're going to put our pinky down on 5 on the high E string. Alright, and then from here, so after you get that slow burn, I'm alright with that. Okay, we're gonna, you can choose to play the low E or not, alright, whatever you want to do. So you can hit the low E string, mute out the A by pushing up with your ring finger on the 3rd fret on D. Have 2 on G, open B and E. Now the rhythm's a little tricky here. I don't really know how to explain this. There's a lot of kind of upstrokes going on. I'm going to put my pinky down on 3 on the high E string while I'm holding down 3 and 2 on D and G with my ring finger and middle finger. I'm going to strum that once. Then I'm going to put my index finger down on the 2nd fret on the high E with the B string open. So you'll have 3 on D with your ring finger, 2 on G with your middle finger, open B, and then index finger also on the 2nd fret of the high E string. Alright, so you have if you want to add in the low E. Alright, and then from here, we're going to go to that G6, we're going to play the full chord, have your thumb on 3 on the low E, mute out the A string, 3 on D, 2 on G, 3 on B, open E. And then take your 2nd finger off of G, suspend it. Alright, so we have okay, so after you do that little rhythm, we're going to play that same rhythm, but we're going to do it with these chords up here on that D6. What are these chords? D6 to the A sus2 to the open D, G, B, and E, right? 5, 7, open, 7, open. Open A, 7 open, open G, 5 on B, open E. So open D, G, B, and E, right? Go back and you turn it around, right? But you just watch your right hand, it just keeps going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and you're playing that vocal melody, right? Trying to do that and tie all these chords together and keep the rhythm going and keep the time going, right? So you really want to make sure you get those bass notes in there, right? It makes it a lot fuller sounding. It kind of booms a little more. Okay, so the thing we played first, we're just going to repeat that a second time, right? Okay, so after you play that twice, then it does the little part that goes out of the chorus. I'm going to do it my way, I'm going to be okay. If we burn it down, it'll take. I don't know the words. I haven't heard it that many times, but. So now we're gonna switch. We're gonna do this A sus4 to that A major. Open A, 5, 4, 3, D, G, and B. Put your pinky down on 5 on B. Strum that out. Then we're gonna go back to that 3 and 2 D and G with your ring and index finger with the open B string. And then have your middle finger on the high E string on the 2nd fret. And then I'm going to put my pinky down on B on 3 and strum those out, right? I'm going to do it my way and it'll be okay, whatever she says, right? So when I switch, when you put your pinky down on 3 on B, also put your thumb down on 3 on the low E and mute out the A string. So that whole chord you're going to strum out. You'll have your thumb on 3 on the low E, mute out the A, 3 on D, 2 on G, 3 on B, 2 on the high E. It's that G major 7, right? Okay, so we have, where am I at? Alright, so after you walk down that ending of the verse, then you're going to slide up and you're going to have 7 on D and B with everything else open. I think I leave out the A string, but you can just strum D, G, B, and E. Have the G and B open, 7 on D and B. And then go 7 on D, open G, 5 on B, open E. To 5, 3, D and B with open G and E. Okay. Then D and G open, 2 on B, and open E. And then the tagline slow burn, we're going to go back to the thing we did in the beginning, right? Okay, so that'll be your chorus part. Let's go through the whole chorus part, but let's start getting out of the end of the verse, right? Then we'll get into the bridge part. So the end of that chorus, okay, just repeat that same thing, that slow burn part. Okay, so after the slow burn, she kind of goes back and does that little verse thing. So after you play that twice, does that, I'm gonna do it my way. It's gonna be all right. You know, 5/4/3 to 5 on G. I think I just went over that right. All right, so. Alright, so then to get into the bridge part, you're basically walking out of that D6 add 9 thing. So we go from that D to that A sus to the open D, G, B, and E. And then we get into the bridge part, right? So let's go ahead and get into the bridge chords. Alright, so for this bridge part, this is a really cool section. It gives the song this big airy lift. She starts singing these oohs and ahs. And this is where they introduce the C major 7 chord. They actually introduce this in the second verse. If you listen closely, they'll go from A to C major 7 to G to D instead of going to E minor. But either way, it's still going to sound good no matter which one you choose to play. You can play E minor or C major 7 for the second verse. It's still going to sound good. You could play E minor or C major 7 for the bridge, and it's still going to sound good. Not for the first C major 7 we go to. But when we go here, I'll give you a choice after this A chord if you want to go to E minor or C major 7. The reason being is they're just one note apart, right? And it makes a big difference. They're definitely going to C major 7 on the recording, but the notes of a C major 7 chord are C, E, G, and B. And the notes of E minor are E, G, and B. So they're just one note difference. That C note does make a big amount of difference, and I think it kind of gives it a darker tone, kind of a more minor, ominous type of sound, even though it's a major 7 chord. But you can kind of use your ears. I'll give you both different ways you could play the bridge. It's just 4 chords, and we'll do it with C major 7, and then we'll do it with E minor as well. So we'll start out, the bridge will have. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over that with the C major 7. So we're going to mute out the low E. We're going to have A, D, and G on the 3rd fret with the open B and E string. Then we're going to go to that G6. We're going to have thumb on 3 on the low E, mute out the A string, 3 on D, 2 on G, and 3 on B with the open E string. Okay. We're going to walk up to that A add 4. You're going to have a open A string, mute out the E, have D on 5, 4 on G, 3 on B with open E. And we're going to kind of match that that she does with her voice, kind of outline that vocal melody. And then with an upstroke, put your pinky down on 5 on B, make it that suspended version. Okay, now here we're going to go back to C major 7, and then I'll show you where we could go to E minor here if you wanted to, and they're both going to sound good, right? So we'll have. Alright, so after you put your pinky down on 5 and suspend that A, we're going to go back to that C major 7. Mute out the low E string, have 3 on A, D, and G with open B and E. Then we're going to go to that G6, 3 on the low E, mute out the A, 3 on D, 2 on G, 3 on B, open E. This time we'll take our pinky off, or our ring finger off of G at the end, and we'll suspend that G6. Alright, and then we're going to walk up and do that D6 thing, right, to turn it around and get back into it. Okay, so then you walk up here and go 5, 7, open, 7, open. And then go it's an A sus2, open A, 7 on D, open G, 5 on B, open E, and then your open D, G, B, and E for your other version of A sus2, right? So that's how you play it if you want to do it with the C major 7, right? Okay, now we can do the same thing with E minor. So if you wanted to, you always want the first chord when you get into the bridge to be the C major 7, right? But instead of revisiting this chord a second time, we can go to E minor since they're just one note apart. It's still going to sound great, and your ears may even prefer the sound of E minor over C major 7. Mine kind of do a little bit, so we'll have right, so you see it still sounds good. It doesn't sound wrong. It's just not what they're doing on the recording, and it's not as dark, right? So, like I said, either way, if you wanted to go, you could just go from your C major 7 to your G6 to your A to A sus. And then instead of going back to C major 7, you can just go to E minor, open E, mute out the A, have D on 3, 2 on G, open B and E. And then go back to your G6, G6 sus, and then to your D6, and into your A sus, and then everything's the same. We just changed that one chord. Instead of going back to C major 7 a second time, you can go to E minor, right? So use your ears. They're definitely going to C major 7 on the recording, like I said, but if you want to do E minor, it still sounds cool. And if you're playing in a full band, like I said, someone else can do that root note. You're not going to sound wrong. You're not going to sound out. And it still sounds cool either way, even if you're playing solo. It's kind of just up to you, whatever you want to do, right? So that's the whole song. It's a beautiful song. I just fell in love with it as soon as I heard it. And I instantly heard like a way I thought I could come up with something. I already had this guitar in a tuning, like I said. So I just sat down, noodled around until I found it. But it's a lot of fun to play, and it's a lot of good practice for your left and right hand, especially with your left hand muting, right? And getting your timing down, syncing both your hands up. Because the A string is really your nemesis throughout this thing. That's what you're constantly trying to mute out with your thumb or pushing your ring or middle finger up against it to try to make sure that doesn't, because it'll make some of the chords sound out if you hit it. But that's everything, right? So just work on right hand, doing the down up, going back and forth between the rhythm of the guitar part, and then trying to phrase her vocal melody lines with your right hand also. But that's it, man. Just practice slow, have fun. I'll see you next time.